Hi, Steph. So we'll just wait for a few more people to join. So today I'm interviewing fashion and beauty editor at PA Media, Katie. So I've just seen she's requested to join. Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm just in a random little meeting room in our office.
Oh yeah, so am I. I'm trying to kind of blur anyone behind me. Last week we had people walking back and forth, so it's always the way. How is it being back in the office?
Yeah, it's all right. So I've just done like one day a week for the last 3 weeks,
Yeah,
um, just to like try the commute,
yeah.
see what it's like back at a desk, see some colleagues. So yeah, it's been quite nice. Like nice to have a change of scenery.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're just doing a few days in the office at the moment, but it's definitely getting busier, isn't it? So you just kind of
Uh,
see. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. So do you want to start off with kind of giving everyone an introduction to yourself, kind of how you got into the journalism industry?
yeah, so I'm fashion and beauty editor at PA Media. So we used to be called Press Association, like
Yeah,
rebranded to reflect the more like digital and multimedia landscape. So yeah, I was kind of a weird route into journalism. I didn't study it at all. I did
yeah.
psychology at university,
Okay,
and
yeah,
yeah, and then I was working in John Lewis head office in corporate social responsibility for a few years, environmental and
yeah,
uh, kind of stuff. And then I was kind of always like interested in fashion and loved like reading about it. And then I started doing some fashion blogging. So this is like back in 2009 when fashion bloggers were just starting to become like
yeah,
a big thing, like with millions of followers and going to Fashion Week. Started doing that like for another blog, and then like it's kind of a group thing, and then a few of us from that we started our own blog, and it was just kind of like a hobby
yeah,
to begin with. And then eventually I kind of thought, oh, do you know what, I'd quite like to give journalism a go. And I went down to 4 days a week in my previous role in John Lewis, and I started looking for work experience. And one of my friends from the blog told me about Press Association and how you could do placements there for 2 weeks.
yeah,
So I went in, like contacted them, and then because I had just this one day a week, so I started doing that. I did it for like 10 weeks because that was equivalent to 2 weeks
yeah.
and and then after that they asked me to stay on freelance because I
Amazing.
still had a day
Yeah,
free. Yes. And then after that, so I did that for like 2.5 years, and then actually I ended up doing got seconded to another role within John Lewis and had Fridays free. So then I started coming into PA doing Fridays as well.
yeah.
And then, after a while, the previous fashion and beauty editor left, and I applied for the role and got it. So
That's
that was,
amazing. So you literally started from the bottom, and now
yeah,
you're now editor. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So for anyone who isn't kind of aware how PA media works, because I know it is slightly different to, the typical kind of glamour, Cosmo kind of titles. Can you just kind of explain basically how it works and runs?
Yeah, it's very different, really. So we're the UK's national news agency, and we have lots of different sections. So we've got like news and sport, and real life, and then I'm on features,
Mm.
and it's kind of split between print and digital. So we have what's called the Features Wire, and it goes out to it's around 80 regional papers around the
Yeah,
UK. So we send features out to them, and then they lay them out in their papers, so they go out in print. And then we have digital customers as well, and so then they take the features and put them on their websites.
yeah. So you mentioned that you are fashion and beauty. Is that kind of an equal split in your role, or does it kind of just depend what stories are coming in?
Yeah, it's kind of it's actually even more like diverse than it used to be because
Yeah,
previously it was pretty much like a quite an even split between the two because I
yeah,
had when I was doing like all print features. But since we launched a digital service a couple of years ago, and now I do everyone on our team, we can all pitch ideas for all the different topics. So we
yeah,
have like 5 different sections. So like fashion and beauty is obviously like my usual one.
yeah,
Um, then we've got life, which covers interiors and lots of different things. Travel, got food and drink, and then we've got health and well-being.
yeah.
So for example, this week I've done, I did something about George Clooney being a style icon because it's his 60th birthday, like today.
Yeah.
We did something about mental health yesterday. I'm doing about my main beauty features about red lipstick.
Yeah.
My fashion one was about spring summer bag trends. So yeah, so it's really varied, and that's really nice that we get to run all these different topics.
So when you kind of pitch ideas, is it you just pitch within the PA Media team, or do you kind of pitch the titles that may pick up the stories?
No, so we pitch. We have a digital editor, so that's who I pitch every 4 days a week. We do these reactive features, like digital features. So we look at what's going on in the news, and then we do features where we always want to move the story along. And have like a different angle on whatever's going on in the news. Sometimes they're like planned ahead. And then the way it works with the customers, like we take them, is just we work on like feedback from them in order to tailor what they would want and what we're doing.
Yeah, of course. And I know from my own experience working with you, a lot of kind of the beauty features, they're syndicated across loads of different titles anyway. So it kind of seems like the content you're creating is kind of versatile enough to kind of fit wherever you are in the UK, which is always good. So what would you say kind of a typical week looks like for you? I know you mentioned some features you're working on there, but kind of on average, I guess.
Yeah, so generally I do sort of have like a nice structure to the week. So generally in the mornings I'll do these what we call these reactive features that are digital. So I might know in the morning like what I'm going to do if I planned it the week before, or I might be going online looking what's going on social media, what celebrities are doing, what people are talking about, what's trending, and then I'll pitch a few ideas, and then my editor will commission one, and then I'll write that, and then kind of the other half, like it's sort of split, morning and afternoon. Then I'll be gathering images for my wire features, getting quotes. I might be doing interviews because I also write some food features as well. So interview a lot of chefs. For beauty, it's often like makeup artists. And so then it's like preparing those features, and then I'm writing them up, and then I have more deadlines at the end of the week. So I have like a deadline day for fashion, one for beauty. And then we have features that are called topicals that go on both digital and print. And those are at the end of the week. So it's kind of like the topics vary, the features vary, but I kind of know roughly generally what I'm doing, and then slotting interviews in between.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're a very busy woman.
Yes. Yeah.
So how would you say your content has changed over lockdown, like if at all? Say you're doing more how-tos in beauty. I know that's been like a massive trend for us anyway.
Yeah, we kind of, I was actually on sabbatical when the pandemic started. So I came back like 2 months after, or 2-3 months. And we started to really like tailor content to what was going on, because before we relied a lot on things like award season, like award shows, the next day we do a roundup, or red carpet like premieres, just a lot more because PA has a big PA images. It's like a huge photo department, so we always had constantly had photos coming in, so we could base a lot of features on that. But instead, so we were those were very limited, the amounts that we could do. Like we still do some award show roundups, but it's all based on tweets, Instagram embeds. So we started to do a lot more explainers and how to connect it to like and a lot of like health and well-being stuff around, a lot more like mental health like in the last year, because obviously a lot of people kind of suffered, and that's a big thing. And the other thing we found that has done really well is putting a positive spin on what obviously is, there's a lot of like suffering, a lot of negativity just in general in the last year. So anything where it was like, ways to refresh your walk around the park, your daily walk around the park, or things we're actually going to miss about lockdown, or things you only know if you secretly like lockdown life, which is what I did, because at the beginning I was like, oh, I actually quite like this. So it's been, we are always reacting to what's going on and what people are talking about. So I would say that's mostly how it's changed. I think for fashion and beauty, like not having as many catwalk shows and catwalk images, that was like quite limiting. So it was just thinking more about, so for example, this week like red lipstick was a big spring summer catwalk trend. But there's quite limited images. So I did it as how to find your perfect lipstick shade to make it more. So it's just kind of tailoring things where like you're not going to have a list of like 20 trends that you can rely on.
Mm.
And with fashion, loungewear used to just be this niche thing that I might do once a year, towards winter when it's like, oh, we're all going to wear loungewear. Now, obviously, it's the
Yeah,
year.
yeah, everyone's in loungewear.
Exactly. And now there are like trends within loungewear.
Yeah,
So so it's things like that and you couldn't at the beginning of spring where I'd normally be doing, we're all going to start wearing mini skirts and shorts soon and sandals and putting loads of makeup on because we're going out. But it's like, no, when you're wearing masks and you're not going out, there's not as much. So doing more things like about baths and pampering and at-home treatments and things
yeah.
like that.
So what's been your kind of favourite article that you've written kind of over lockdown, would you say?
I think things like the one I mentioned about the things you only know if you secret like lockdown life. They're really fun to write. These like we do a lot of things you only know and also emotional stages of. So
Yeah,
things like stages of going back to the office or emotional stages of getting your first haircut after lockdown. Things like
yeah,
that where you can actually be like quite funny and and they're just a bit more irreverent and they're always fun. And what we like to do is kind of pool ideas within the team. So we've
yeah.
got like my teams and we're like, hey guys, we've got any ideas for this? And it's this nice like collaborative thing. I think those ones always turn out well and they seem to get a lot of clicks. I think people like to read them as well.
Yeah, definitely. So do you have any advice for kind of aspiring journalists? So you mentioned you kind of started at PA as an intern. Would you say that's kind of the best route or?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's one of those things where I would give advice with caution because obviously
Yeah,
the industry is suffering at the moment. It's like one of those things that I think you really got to really, really want to do it. You've got to be so
yeah,
passionate because there's thousands of people coming out of, journalism degrees, master's degrees every year, and the
yeah,
pool of jobs is sadly becoming ever smaller.
yeah,
I would say work experience is a really, really good way to do it because you meet people who then, like me, as a perfect example, there later was a job, there was a freelance post, so I started doing that. And I would say sadly, we don't take work experience people anymore because now that we do hot desking and we're not all in the office. But we used to, when we'd had a lot of people over the years, and there was always such a difference between the people who wanted to be there and the people who didn't. So you
yeah,
could totally tell where someone was like, oh, I've got to do it because of my course. I can't be bothered. They were just sometimes didn't make a whole lot of effort. And then every
yeah,
so often, someone who was really good, and it would be spread around the team. It'd be like, oh, the work is really good this week. Oh, they're great. They wrote this for me. It was really good. And you totally remember those people. So
yeah,
it's like, work hard, say yes to everything, as much as possible, work as hard as you can. People will remember you. And then if a job does come up, they're going to, and you should also keep a lookout on those websites for those companies or publishing houses, whatever it is. And then when you apply, you can be like, I did work experience there, or even, drop a line or tweet the person that you knew and say, I'm applying for this job. Because,
yeah.
we definitely still remember years later, you remember, oh, remember that one really good worky? Wasn't she amazing?
Yeah, and I guess it kind of like you did having a blog as well to kind of back up your kind of writing skills. I guess it's the perfect time now, or what at least it was during like proper lockdown, to
Yeah.
get kind of practicing on your writing and write kind of the features that you would publish. Is that what
Yeah.
a lot of kind of work experience students have? Do you look for?
Like I think most of the ones we got were from City University, so they already had kind of like a portfolio from that. But
Yeah,
if you're not studying it, like that was what I had. That was when I came and said, "Can I do work experience?" I was like, "This is my blog," and I had hundreds of articles that I'd
yeah,
written. But like in terms of improving your writing, it's just practice. Like you
yeah,
just have to keep writing and writing and writing. Whether it is for a blog or pitching or trying to get paid for it, but it's the only way to improve, really.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Katie. I've actually run out of questions, but it's been so lovely to talk to you. So if anyone does have any questions, I'll upload this onto our grid and I'll pop down your details as well. Just your Instagram handle, don't worry, I won't leak your email address or anything like that. But anyone can drop down questions for you. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
that's all right. Thanks for having me. Lovely to talk to you.
Speak soon. Bye.
Bye.